Thank you so much, DGE Deborah and DGE Andy, for inviting me here tonight. Absolutely fabulous and great to hear these speakers. And for those that glazed over when they were hearing about DAC-DB, let me tell you, I've been club president, been district governor, Rotary coordinator. I still glaze over, so it's not unusual to glaze over DAC-DB. But hey, it was great anyway. And as for Marnie, she is my absolute favorite, because I almost felt as if we grew up together. Well, I'm maybe a little bit in advance of her, but anyway, you know, she's got some great information. I just want to tell you as well about that learning center. It's not all about learning about Rotary. You can learn about yourself at the learning center. And for those people that are a little bit concerned about standing up and speaking, because I'm one of them, I'm a very nervous speaker. But actually, you can learn how to do it very well at the Learning Center, so it's absolutely great. And Peter, my dear friend, my classmate, and my director, it's great to see you, Peter. We were district governors together, and thank you for that shameless plug for Uncorked on Friday night. I'm so looking forward to it. Why they got a whiskey drinking Scotsman to compare that, I really don't know. However, we're going to have some fun with it. So, and Clarice, it definitely is free, but you have to provide your own wine. Now, I am going to share screen, so I hope this all works out. Let's see if we can do that. I hope you are beginning to see my screen, are you?
Yeah.
Are you seeing my screen now?
Yes, yes, George.
Oh, success. I am so pleased. So anyway, for those that don't know me, yes, I am George Robertson Burnett. Got a little bit of an accent, so you know, please bear with me. So I'm Rotary coordinator and the past district governor, and I've sort of entitled this, Love My Club, Love My Rotary, because I do, with a vengeance. I love it. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story. So I came to the United States in 2004. That seems such a long time ago now. I knew Rotary, but I was not a Rotarian when I actually arrived here. So within almost 2 weeks of actually arriving in this great country, I was invited to lunch. Now, everybody on this call knows that that's just another way of saying, would you like to join Rotary? But you know what? That changed my life there and then, when that dear lady, who I'll never forget for doing it, and for those from 6890, it's Anita Stasiak. She's my bank manager in Bartow. She called me up and she says, let's do lunch. And she took me to the Rotary Club of Bartow for lunch. And that was my introduction to this fabulous, fabulous organization. Yeah, I'd heard about Rotary. I knew what Rotary did, I thought, but what an awakening it was. As you can see from that picture, we do have some fun in Bartow. That's when we had Batman as our speaker. I'm not going to go into that. I'm not going to tell you what happened when Batman was the speaker at Bartow. But we do some unusual things, that's for sure. You know, we say about Bartow, a day out of Bartow is a day wasted. We love our community. We love Bartow, you know, but we love our Rotary. And guess what? Bartow loves their Rotary. So I was introduced here 2 weeks into arriving in the United States when I didn't know anything. So what do you think was the most important thing to me when I walked in through the door of Bartow Rotary Club? It's one of the main reasons people join. It was the fellowship. Can you imagine going from knowing 0 people in the United States to knowing 72 wonderful people, not just people, but wonderful people who cared about their community, who actually wanted to do good, and they were just the most friendly people. And you know what? Here's a bit of a disclosure. I don't actually live in Bartow anymore. I actually live in Lakeland, and I used to live in Winterhaven. So I have moved about. You know, I'm looking for a community that'll have me. But what I won't do is I won't change my Rotary Club, because these were the people that welcomed me with open arms back there in 2004 and made me feel welcome and made me feel valued. And that's what we must do in order to make our members feel valued. because boy, oh boy, I would go to Publix, our supermarket, and people would say, "Hi, George." I had no idea because I had to remember 72 people. They only had to remember that guy that spoke funny, and so it was easier for them than it was for me. But what a great lift for when you've just come to a new country, when people are actually talking to you. It's not the only reason people join Rotary, of course. There are other reasons. How about networking? People do join to network. Hey, I arrived here in 2004. That was the year that we had 4 hurricanes through here. And everybody on this call who was here at that time will remember that that was pretty difficult times. But you know what? If I needed a roofer, as I did, because I got an oak tree in my front room, I needed a roofer, I needed a gutter expert, I needed so many different tradesmen. Where did I get them from? No, I didn't go to Yellow Pages or anything like that or go online. I went to my Rotary Club because a recommendation from a Rotarian is so worth it. So that's where the networking come in. It's not always about networking your company, it's networking the other way, finding out what's going on. You may wonder why I've got Publix Food and Pharmacy up there. I wanted to share with you that that would have just said Publix Food if it hadn't been for Rotary. The pharmacy part was added by Rotary because, as you know, George Jenkins was an avid Rotarian and he started Publix, which was a food supermarket. But he went to Rotary one day and this guy who was a pharmacist says, "You know what, George, you should open pharmacies in your public stores." And he said, "Nah, I don't really want to do that." But he thought about it over the week and he went back the next week and he said, "I'll tell you what, I'll put pharmacies in my supermarkets if you'll run them." And the guy said, "Okay, I will." So there you see a wonderful piece of networking from Rotary that impacts our lives today. How cool is that? Absolutely fabulous. And here's the other thing that people join for. It's for doing good. It's absolutely amazing what we do in Rotary. And as a Rotary coordinator, of course, I've got nearly 800 Rotary clubs that I can go to. They're all different, but they're all doing fabulous things. And it's not always the big things. Polio Plus is fabulous. Of course it's fabulous. I mean, it's a world impacting thing that Rotary does, or we're the major element of. So it is absolutely wonderful. But sometimes it's the little things. In our clubs, the things that we do, into this Rotary Club, and you see those cuddly toys there. They had all those cuddly toys in the corner of the Rotary Club. I said, "What the cuddly toys for?" I say, "We put them in the trunk of police cars, and the police hand out those cuddly toys when they go to a domestic where they've got to remove the children. At least the children who have been removed for their safety or for whatever reason are given a cuddly toy, something to hold on to, and they keep it, of course, forever," which is why the Rotary Club keep replacing. You may say that's not a huge thing, but can you imagine the impact on a child? And that's what Rotary does. It's not always the big stuff, it's the little stuff. Boasting on Bartow, we lost our way for a little while. We lost our passion for a little while until our president said, "You know what? We've got this great project. We are going to put together children that are looking to be adopted with families that are looking to adopt." And that's what we do. We find forever homes every year for children in our community. That to me is amazing what Rotary does. Everything you see on the screen relates to something that Rotarians have done. Those seed boxes, they're actually in Mexico. And our Rotarians went to Mexico to build those seed boxes so that they could grow vegetables. I think it's the only time you've ever heard of a group of Americans going to Mexico to do yard work. I mean, Rotary turns things on its head. It really does. It's fabulous what we do. So please be so proud of what we do. Rotary clubs, think about it when you're taking over your club. It's a franchise. Rotary gives you those core principles, but how it manifests itself is entirely up to the members in that club. And let me tell you, I visit so many clubs, and sometimes it's all virtually now. But there is such a diverse element to all Rotary clubs. They come in different shapes and sizes. Most are doing the most wonderful things and engaging their members, which is so important. We've got to give value to our members. If we're not giving our members value, guess what? They begin to wonder whether they actually joined for the right reason, or they're being supplied with what they joined for. They all joined for a reason, kind of the reasons I gave you: fellowship, networking, doing good in the community. The Rotary Club has to supply that. And you're a pivotal element of that, of course you are. Connection to the community is huge. Your Rotary Club is almost given that as your franchise area. But it's not only that's where you'll do the majority of your good, by any means. There's another aspect to this. That is your sales area. That's where your members are coming from. And therefore, connection to the community, connecting out to the community, making sure the community knows what the Rotary Club are doing. As I say, in Bartow, they're so proud of the Rotary Club, and we're proud of Bartow. And that's the way that it should be. That feeling, creating that mutual feeling, you need good PR. You need to let people know the great things we do. We've been shy about that in the past. We're not very good at patting ourselves on the back because we don't think that that's what we're supposed to do. You know, we're supposed to get on with this quietly and do the job. But guess what? If we don't let people know the fabulous things we're doing, then they don't know to join us. They don't know that they want to be part of it. So please, you can make this happen. You have been selected either as an AG or as the president of the club. You've been selected because you have that capability. Someone's seen that capability in you. And it's so important that you now deliver. Take this. You know, you may say, well, no, it's just that they didn't have anybody else. You know, most of you have been selected by your clubs because they're excited about the prospect of you running that club, you know. And no matter how this job came to you, please do it to the very best of your ability. It's so hugely important. They picked you. Now it's your chance to deliver on that. Now you will have to pick a team, and this may not look like the best team in the world, you know, but you know what? With your encouragement, with you've got to make them feel that they can do this job. You know, give them clear instruction, have a clear plan, and make them part of it. And guess what? This team that you have put together, make sure that they actually, I went to a club and they were not doing too well. And they said, what do you think we should do? And I said, well, there's not a lot of interest or, you know, fun in the club. You know, fun is an important, and they said, okay, we'll get somebody to tell a joke every week. And I went, oh, really? So I went back about a month later and this guy stands up and tells a joke. And then he sits down. Nobody laughed. And I said after, you're a bit hard on the guy that told the joke. And they said, oh, him. He told the same joke last week and we didn't laugh then either. The moral of that story is make sure that the people you're picking are good for the job you're picking them for. And guess what? You'll turn your team into an absolute team of go-getters, some fabulous, and you will do fabulous things in your club. All about that selection process. Make sure that you'll have hey, I've got to tell you, with regard to membership, so many fabulous clubs that I go to, and I ask them about membership, and they say, well, the members bring in members. You say, yeah, but how do you encourage that? Oh, never thought of that. You know, one of the things, because as Rotary coordinator, this is my main theme, membership. Please, as you get into this, think about how you're going to give that incentive for people to bring members into your club. If your club is strong, I'll tell you what, people will want to come in, but you need to perhaps give a little incentive. I always think, you know, a bottle of whiskey is enough. You know, the one that brings in the most, give them a bottle of whiskey, you know, for the year. It's not the size of the prize. It's the fact that there is one and that you show that membership is important, because if we're not growing, we are stagnating and we will, you know, we will suffer from that. You know, we need to grow. We need to energize. We need new people to create new ideas and to keep our club strong. Now, there are three words that were actually said by John Hugo, who you were introduced to earlier. John Hugo at the International Convention, which was virtual. And I wrote down those three words, and they've meant so much to me ever since. You know, and I think if you actually have these three words in your mind when you're thinking about your club. So here they are. The first one is strong. You know, it's so important that we're strong on fellowship. That we're attractive to new members. That is so important, that we actually have high participation in our clubs. High participation. You know, you can create that participation by involvement, by involving people. You know, put them on committees, put them into groups. Think about that. That's what makes us a strong club. How about being vibrant? You know, an energetic club. When I walk into clubs that are very successful, there's a buzz in the air. There's an energy. You know, people are invested in what the club does. And they also have great public image. It's amazing the difference great public image makes. And as for relevance, you know, relevant to the community, which we kind of covered, but most importantly, it must be relevant to the members. the members must feel that the club is doing the sort of things that they feel great about. And therefore, it provides that value. So important. You know, pride is such an important element. You know, if you can't hold your hand up and say, I'm proud of my Rotary Club, you know, I hope you can, but if you can't, that's not a reason to do anything other than try to change. Make the club into something that you're very, very proud of. That is so. That's the way that we resolve things in Rotary. You know, we've gone through a difficult year because we've had to adapt, and we're now into hybrid meetings, or some are meeting in person, some are still meeting online. You know, as we come out of this, we will have to adapt, and you will be an integral part of that. You know, adaptation. What will Rotary look like? You know, what will it actually be like? Will it be like it was before? Are we desperate to get back to the way we were, or are we going for a new us? You know, you need to think about that. But one of the most important aspects that I would tell you about flexibility, you must take the club with you. It's not about a personal view, it's about the club view. And we must always remember that. So as I get into conclusion, some guiding principles that I want you to think about. Be yourself, because everybody else is already taken. The fact is that you don't need to emulate the person that went before you. You are your own individual, and that's where the strength will lie. The club picked you, be yourself, and it is important, you know, that you actually set goals. You know, success awaits when you focus on goals. So do set your goals. But having said that, planning is good, but preparing is even better. And that preparation isn't just the preparation for your year, preparation for the meeting that you will run if you're a club president. Please don't arrive at the meeting 10 minutes before and start writing down what you're going to do. You know, do it the day before. Give a little bit of thought of the weekend before. Think about what that meeting is going to look like. Remember that that meeting is the exposure to your club for the majority of your members. Try it for it not to be, of course. Try to get them involved beyond the club, because that's a great thing to do. The other thing is something that I firmly believe, you know, is have fun. We've got to have fun with this, because, you know, I often say, you know, if it's not fun, we shouldn't be doing it. But, you know, but there's fun in creation, fun in the fabulous things that we do also. So my final thought. So this is the Rotary Coordinator area that I cover: Georgia, Florida, the Caribbean, plus 3 countries in South America. Yeah, nearly 800 Rotary clubs. Yeah, sucks to be me, but it's fabulous. Every day I get to spend my time with Rotarians. So my quick story is I was out in the British Virgin Islands and visited the clubs in the Virgin Islands, and then was on my way home and arrived in Puerto Rico to catch my flight to Orlando. Now, I was a little bit early, and I looked up and I noticed there was an earlier flight. So I went to the desk and I said, is there any chance of me getting on the earlier flight? Now, I was wearing a Rotary pin. And the girl saw the pin and she said, are you in Rotary? And I said, yes. She said, well, not only am I putting you on that earlier flight, but I'm going to upgrade you. Big seat, Scotch whiskey, free, 2 fingers. It was fabulous. But that's not the reason I'm telling you the story. But I think you're all thinking, next time I go to the airport, I'm wearing my pin, just in case. Anyway, that's not the reason for telling you the story. The reason for telling you the story is the 4 words that she said to me as I'm walking away from the desk. So important. She said, you Rotarians are awesome. And that has just been imprinted on my brain ever since she said it. You Rotarians are awesome. And guess what? We are, you are. So let's make 2020-21 the Rotary year of awesome. Thank you so much for the invite. And I'm sure you are all going to be awesome. Thank you so much.